How's everybody doing today? This is Brother Tatashima Hedokayu. What's today? Just turned 2025. It's January 6th, 2025. Peace and blessings to everybody out there who may see this video and who may not see this video, which will probably be the majority, right? There's a lot of people out there, struggling with making ends meet, so to speak. A lot of people complaining, a lot of people overweight, a lot of people are not willing to make the sacrifice to make money. Look, as you can see, I'm in this truck, running my own company, trying to make it happen, and that's what it takes, especially to fight inflation, and also investing. Y'all don't really invest your money. You can't. The days of this using labor to make enough money to live, those days are pretty much over because of what the central banks did with inflation. You'd have to work like 3 or 4 jobs, and the body just can't do that, and that's another reason why women should think about getting married. Stop hating men, especially black women. Stop hating men, because now you're gonna need men to pretty much pay your rent. And that's the way it should be anyway, right? We should be together. So any woman hating men on this feminist stupid stuff doesn't really work. Inshallah. So you gotta live your life accordingly. If you don't have a plan, the government got a plan for you. If that plan ain't gonna be as good as your plan, if you can come up with it. So owning your own business, getting into partnerships with people who you may live around, people who you're friends with, that you can have some sort of trust. This is very important in life. Networking is very important in life. You just going to work, working a 9 to 5, 9 to 6, whatever you want to call it, putting in about 50 hours of work. That's just not gonna work anymore. I can clearly see that. I think more people need to get together and start investing, man. Yeah, get together and start investing in your own future. Stop waiting on the government to provide for you, because the government ain't gonna provide for you like you want to be provided for. I'm seeing a lot of people starting to go off into dreamland. They don't want to face reality, so they just want to, guys want to play video games, which I play video games too. I got an Xbox right in here. Man's supposed to own some property. Man's supposed to be able to provide, and I watch Kevin Samuels, and I hear women complain, specifically a lot of black women complain that there's not a lot of available men out there to date. But I think black women's expectation of men is way too high. Too much fairy tale stuff, too much fantasy, not enough reality. And I think women escape reality because it's so hard. A single woman having kids, especially, that's hard. That's like doing a bid. That's hard, but it seems to be the trend. That's black people don't have any culture. So whatever corporate media puts out there, that's black people's culture. The rap or the prison systems that they're filling up, it's all psychology, and it seems that niggas fall for it every time. That's why you should be a Nuwabian, right? Because we actually have a structure. We have a Rabasul, which language and things like that, so you don't fall for the traps. You know what I mean? And so I think, to reiterate, get married. Everybody get married. I'm not even talking to just one race of people. In America, there's really no morals to whatever corporations want to do. That's the culture, if that's even a cult. I don't even know if you even call that a culture. But what black people are doing, that's not really culture. And culture is the thing that binds generations and nations and tribes together. And if you don't really have that, then you don't have anything. You don't have nothing. You can make $1 million, lose it in the next generation, because you never passed down the knowledge that you got in your lifetime, or knowledge that you may have gotten from your forefathers. So, inflation is another big one, because if you don't have money to keep up with inflation, this is why investing is so important. And there's no guarantees there either that you're gonna fall victim. And also, men, if you're broke, stop having kids early, man. Don't have kids until like late 30s, 40s, man. That's at least you can establish yourself. Because when you go to work, just grind till you get to the top. You know, kind of like what I did in IT. I just grinded. I had a girlfriend, but my career was number one. Because you gotta get that money, man. You gotta get it. You gotta get it, man. You don't have to step on nobody's toes to get it. You just gotta work hard and focus and network with the right people. And people don't understand work. Work can only get you so much. Be cool with your boss. You know, when the guys go out at work, go with them. Chop it up. That gets you favoritism at work. And yes, favoritism does exist. Of course, favoritism has always existed. You know what I mean? It's stupid. People say, it's not fair. There's nothing in your contract for an employment that says it's going to be fair. So if we get past the fairy tale stuff, and you learn to negotiate, and you learn to talk with people who are above you, right, that they can count on you to do the job, that's how you get promotions and stuff. That's how you double your salary, up your salary. But just going to work and just working and keeping your mouth shut, that's very rarely will that work. Very rarely will that work. So I think, what I see on YouTube is kind of different from what I see out here on the road, because dudes is getting money out here on the road. Even foreigners are getting money more than people who have been here for generations. So there's money to get. You're just too lazy to get it. I remember in IT, I moved all across California. Wherever the money was at, that's where I moved to. That's what you have to do. You have to make the sacrifice in your career to get the money. The money's not just going to come to you. If you got to move out of state to get the money, move out of state and get the money. Move out of state and get the money, because that's super important. You got to go where you're needed. That's the market, and the market is king. The labor market in any market is king. Not even governments can stop a market. So if the market says, hey, we need more truck drivers than we need software engineers, then a lot of software engineers are going to get let go from their jobs, like what's happening now in IT, and they're going to go somewhere else. I'm not saying just driving the tractor. I'm saying wherever the skills are needed, especially high paying skills, that's where you got to go. It's not going to come to you. I went and got it. A lot of you guys aren't going to get it. I see a lot of people complaining, but complaining don't pay the bills. You can't go to your your landlord and say, you know what, blah 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 blah. I'm upset about this. I got let go. Blah 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 blah. You didn't save any money. Landlord gonna look at you like you're crazy. Like that's not my problem. I'm running a business. I provide you with housing, then you pay for the services I provide. So, and then to get upset about that's just pure emotions. That's just pure emotions, and it's a lack of support. I have a lack of support, but really worry about it because I provided my own support. Yeah, especially financially. And this is what you got to do against all odds. You know, like Tupac said, against all odds, I hope in my true mother, no, this be the realest I ever wrote. You know, you gotta get serious. And I think a lot of people are afraid to get serious. You know, about, you know, they want to, oh, I'm not trying to live comfortably, but you're not going to live comfortably at all. Living comfortably is for people getting money. And even people who get money don't live comfortable. Because if you get comfortable, you get content. You start, when the government give you money, or when you've been at your job for such a long time. Now, my dad was at a job for 19 years. They let him go a couple months before he retired. He had to go to court and fight to get his pension. So, better to have your own business where you're in control. You got to work a little harder until you figure out the template and how to run your operation. But trust me, putting in that work, you're going to put in work anyway. You're either going to put in work for them or you're going to put in work for yourself. But you're going to put in some work. Yeah, you're going to work. Physically or mentally, you're going to work. So you might as well do that the best that you can and develop a skill that you actually enjoy. You know, Nubians are imposed with starting their own business. And any Nubian that doesn't have their own business, you know, I'm not saying you're not a Nubian because it's work, but you know, that's frowned upon. It's frowned upon in our culture. It's frowned upon. You shouldn't be working for the man all your life. You should take those skills, five years in one industry, take those skills and start your own thing, right? That's really what you should be doing, is starting your own thing. So, you know, at the end of the day, we can't blame the government, can't blame your employer, unless you really think your employer just has it out for you as in some kind of conspiracy. You got to get up and formulate a plan. You got to make a plan. The more detailed, the better. But make a plan and how you look at your life, you know, the next 5 to 10 years out. You gotta, especially as a man. See, women ain't really blessed with the gift of foresight. A lot of women are just, they're concerned with their own feelings, and that's all they can see. That's it. They can't see tomorrow. That's why a lot of women cheat. Men cheat too, so I'm not saying that men don't cheat. But when women cheat, they really think the grass is greener on the other side because this is the fairy tale they've been told. And then when they try to be with this other dude that they cheated on their boyfriend, their original boyfriend, or their husband with, you see him on TikTok a lot crying, saying, oh, why did I leave? Because at the time she had all these emotions, and maybe the dude made her tingle, right, and gave her what her husband didn't, which was, you know, freaky sex or whatever. That's usually why women cheat. Or, you know, the guy's richer or whatever. But the guy who the affair partner that you're cheating with, ladies, he already got a couple of them lined up. He just lying to you. Some dudes just want to take another man's girl. You know, that happens, you know, the competition thing. And then once the excitement's over, he like, nah, I'm done. I'm going back to my wife. Oh, I didn't tell you I had a wife. Oh yeah, I'm going back to her. Or you might have a couple that look just like you. You know, 3 or 4 of them just like you. When he done with you, just throw you to the side and go grab another one. So I've seen a lot of foolishness like that. And I just seen, you know, out here it's getting rough. It's becoming the haves and the have-nots. So this is what I currently see in our society, you know, and it's very paramount. Sorry, I don't know the English word, but it's very paramount that people start getting their acts together. You better start getting your mind keen and sharp, because it only gets worse. It's never going back to the way it used to be before COVID, because this is their plan. This is the man's plan. And if you pay attention what's happening at the UN, it's kind of plain to see. I can't really get, I don't really get the fourth on. Is it the fourth on? No, I'm sorry. I'm trying to say that's because in Old English. Okay, anyway, I don't really get the reason why it's a shock to people that things are happening now. Have you been watching Alex Jones? And I'm not saying everything he says is true, but he talked about inflation to the point where people would own nothing and be happy. He's been talking about that for like 10 years now. So when I knew COVID hit, this was the false event that they needed to turn everybody into wage slaves. And if you don't have any assets, you're pretty much done. Your family's probably done for the next 200 years if you don't own any assets. Not only will you suffer, your great-great-great-grandchildren will suffer. And see, this is the thought of a man with foresight into what's happening, right? I've been kind of looking around for 16 years, you know, the financial markets, you know, about me being who I am, about everything really, just being a well-rounded person. And I know when every country, if every country's doing the same thing, and the global command is coming from the UN, that's called a world government. So I knew all this was happening. Dr. York talked about this in the 80s and the 90s. Alex Jones, Jordan Maxwell, David Icke, you know, people like that have been talking about this for a while. Even the South African Moor, the Zulu Moor, Credwo Mutwa, he even talked about this. And it's here now. You know what I'm saying? It's here now. For the idiots who didn't see it, they just lived their life and la 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 la. I'm not saying don't have fun. I had a lot of fun too. Went to a lot of clubs, dated a lot of women when I was in Southern California, in Diego, and LA. However, that's definitely not the primary goal, or it's not the top priority. The top priority was always my career, always. Because in this system, you gotta have money to maneuver. You gotta at least have a little bit saved up. And then, you know, keeping your eyes out, you know, reading books about various topics, about what, you know, the government's doing, about what we should be doing. Can't just focus on the man all the time. We should be making moves, right? Not to topple anything, but we just need to get together and start building. And then you just kind of see every country making the same laws. And then you see it coming from the UN. You know, things happen at the UN, the whole planetary system is involved in it. So, you know, at the end of the day, what can you really do, right? Except band together and fight. But Americans, the whole rest of the world is fighting. People in Africa, with Ibrahim Traore, and in Burkina Faso, Mali, and I think another nation. Well, they've kicked the French out. They stopped using French as the national language, and they're getting rid of the French CFA currency. So people are fighting and doing things across the world, but America is so paralyzed by media and the wanting to be rich. Like, everybody wants to be rich in America, right? They're just jealous of the people who are rich. You know, the people who say who don't want money, but then they're crying to the government about money, are obviously lying, right? So everybody wants a little bit of the piece of the pie, but everybody's so individualized, and the people up top are so together and banded that what they're doing is working, and now the one world government is actually here. It's here. Now there's some people who oppose that, like you got your Chinas, Russia, North Korea, Venezuela, I think Chile. There's some, of course, Cuba. So they don't have all the dominance, and now they're coming out with BRICS, which is going to be a dollar killer, right? It's going to be a dollar killer because the dollar's. So they're trying this one world government thing, and what's going on in the in Arabia. I also found out through intuition that the reason they call it the Middle East is because they don't want to call it Arabia because they know that words have power. Arabia, right? They don't want to call it Arabia because Palestine, Israel, all that is in Arabia. I don't know what the Middle East, I don't know what being Middle Eastern is. That's some stupid term like black. Negro, black, and color. It's a stupid term like that. Oh, I'm Middle Eastern. What is that? You mean you're Arabic? So even they've been fooled. So at the end of the day, man, people just got to wake up and smell the Folgers. Word, you know what I mean? It's catastrophic. It's not catastrophic what's happening out here because people are still living. People got houses, cars, front yard, backyard. Kids go to good schools. It's just the ones that don't have any family support, really, don't have any financial support, and are not willing to learn new skills when the market changes. That's mandatory. That's mandatory, man. Once the market changes, you gotta change with it. You have to change with it. So I'm gonna sign off here. I got some business to handle. Again, this is Tutashima Hedokayu, and hopefully everybody's having a blessed day. I know only a couple people will see my message because I'm not big into YouTube and stuff like that, but I just wanted to give my opinion, not law, but my opinion about what's happening out here, and how a lot of people need to be rehabilitated into the markets. Market is king. Whatever if the market pendulum is swinging, if you ain't swinging with it, or you ain't got the money saved up to withstand the storm, then you're gonna get wiped out. You're gonna get wiped out. So these are things you need to think of when you're starting your business or you're employed. Save something. You got to save some money. You got to save money. It is crucial you save some dough. You got to save some dough. It's very important. I know we're a nation of like habitual overconsumption. Credit cards. People putting food on credit cards now because they didn't just spent everything up. Payday loans. Don't ever do that. Don't ever do a payday loan. Go get a second job if you have to. Stay out of that stuff, man. Stop being in perpetual debt because the system, your credit report. My credit ain't great either, but I'm a cash dude, so everything I do is cash. But I do want my credit to be improved. Everything I do is cash. If I don't have the money, I don't buy it. I save up to get it. You know what I'm saying? So these things are crucial as you're going through your forthgoings. You need to picture, are you going to be doing the same thing in 3 to 5 years? And if it's 3 to 5 years, is it lucrative? Is this going to pay the bills? Because the housing is never going back to where it used to be. The average cost of a house, $450,000. You know what I mean? So it's not going down. I mean, it may go down a little bit because I do see prices going down somewhat, but it's not gonna go down to pre-pandemic levels, as they say. So it's important that you and your friends or your family, come together. To come together. Because employment, some of it is wage slavery. Some of it is, but that's not the employer's fault. That's your fault. Because you don't run that business, they do. And you lucky to get employment with them so you can pay your bills, because the bills they still got to get paid, right? The bills have to get paid. So what are we gonna do, y'all? I don't know, but I know what I'm gonna do. And the people that I do business with and partner with, it's all about the mindset, the faith set. You know what I mean? Got to get your faith right. Faith is the mind in the English language. Mind is a Latin word. So a lot of opportunity out here, but you got to have knowledge to see it. You know what I mean? Like, it's as an example, if I'm a calculus major at Stanford or Princeton or something, and I try to show one of my friends this problem, right? I try to show him this problem, and he gonna be like, I don't know what the heck I'm looking at. And when I look at it, I can see the answer. I can see how to work out the answer. But without knowledge, you can't see, right? You can't see the settling or the solution, right? You can't see the settling of the problem.
43, 22.
And it's the same thing in business. Once you start doing business and you learn those skills as an employee, like an apprentice, you're really like an apprentice. So you're getting trained at your job to do, X, Y, and Z. And once you start learning how to do that, you develop that skill and you start solving like business forthgoings, right? Forthgoings just means process. Process is a Latin word. Forthgoing is English. So when you go through your forthgoings, you start to see the problems that could occur. You start to have some type of foresight into what's next or what's in the near future. But to develop that, you got to get into the forthgoing. I mean, it's gonna be pleasure and pain. And I think once people go through that, they don't want to do it again when the market changes. But you got to do it. You got to do it when the market changes. It don't make sense not to do it, because if you don't do it, you're putting your family at risk. And so you should be motivated, and motivation is really key to the human soul and to the human quickening, right? Now, the word quick is just, it means animated, like an animation. You would just say quickening in English. Look it up. So, to be quick again and be motivated, you need to tap into your own soul. This is why joining AMOM is important. To stay motivated, you have to work with yourself. You got to work with your soul, work with your spirit, and work with your energy. Now, there's different ways of doing that as a cosmosan. However, you got to work with yourself, right? Some people want to be motivated by children. A single woman might be motivated by her children, right? But you shouldn't put yourself in the hole to be motivated. You should be motivated before you have children, right? And you should find the right man to marry, which you should be asking advice from another man whether you should marry a man. Don't ask your homegirls, because your homegirl's gonna lie to you. They lie. Women lie to each other because they want to stay in fantasy land. So that's it. That's all I got to say today. I'm gonna wrap it up. All right, Wadu.